I don't feel anything when I'm with him anymore.
My name is Aaron Blake, and for 12 years I believed I understood my wife. You learn a lot in 12 years of marriage: the shape of someone's laugh, the rhythm of their breathing, the soft pauses between their sentences. I thought I knew everything about Mia, but sometimes the things that hurt the most are the things you stumble upon by accident. It was a quiet Sunday morning. Sunlight streamed through the curtains. Coffee was brewing, the kind of peaceful morning that makes you believe life is still gentle. Mia was on a video call in the next room, something she did all the time. I wasn't eavesdropping or suspicious. I was just walking past the door to grab some laundry when I heard a sentence that froze me in place. I don't feel anything when I'm with him anymore. I stopped breathing. For a split second, I told myself she meant someone else, a friend, a coworker. But her next words shattered that hope instantly. Aaron doesn't even notice how disconnected we are. He thinks we're fine. The laundry basket slipped from my hands and hit the floor with a dull thud. She didn't hear it. She kept talking, her voice low and vulnerable in a way she never was with me anymore. Her friend asked something I couldn't quite hear, and Mia sighed. "No, I haven't told him. I don't want to hurt him. And honestly, I don't know if telling the truth will fix anything." My legs nearly gave out. I'd felt her drifting for months. The hugs were shorter, her eyes seemed distant. And there were nights she turned away from me in bed, and our conversations died after just a few sentences. I had blamed it all on stress, on work, on life. It never once crossed my mind that I was the person she no longer felt anything for. I backed away silently, my heart pounding, my mind unraveling. That one overheard sentence kept echoing in my skull. "I don't feel anything when I am with him anymore." When she ended the call and walked into the kitchen, she was humming softly, smiling, acting like everything was perfectly normal. But for me, everything had changed. We ate breakfast together like two actors reading lines in a play we no longer believed in. She didn't notice my shaking hands or ask why I barely touched my food. She didn't see the way I kept looking at her, trying to memorize a version of her that no longer existed. Later, when she stepped out to run errands, I sat alone in the silence she left behind. And for the first time in 12 years, I wondered, did I ever really know her? Or did I only know the version of her I wanted to believe in? For the next few days, I lived in a fog, just going through the motions, replaying her words over and over. I wasn't angry, not even heartbroken. I just felt hollow. Mia wasn't being cruel or malicious. She wasn't hiding an affair. Her secret was simpler, quieter, and infinitely more painful. She was already gone emotionally, long before I ever noticed. Every little moment suddenly gained a new, painful meaning. When I made her coffee and she barely sipped it. When I told a story and she responded with a distracted, When I kissed her forehead and she didn't lean into it. I had thought her silence was just a normal part of a long-term marriage settling into a routine. But now I saw it clearly. Silence can be the loudest alarm bell. One evening she walked in from work and kissed my cheek lightly. It felt like a gesture of obligation, not affection. She asked how my day went, and I answered automatically. But inside, a question twisted like a knife. How long had she been pretending? The truth is, you can endure almost anything: rejection, arguments, disappointment, but not the emotional absence of the person who once saw your soul so clearly. One night, after she fell asleep, I stepped out into the backyard and sat under the cold night sky. My chest burned with a quiet ache I couldn't name. That's when the realization hit me: she didn't stop loving me overnight. She had slowly drifted away while I kept telling myself everything was normal. And that hurt more than any fight ever could. The next morning, she noticed I was unusually quiet. "You good?" she asked gently. I stared at her, wanting to tell her everything I'd heard, everything I felt, everything that was breaking inside me. But I saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the confusion and the guilt she hadn't even admitted to herself yet. So, instead of confessing, I asked a simple question: "Aren't you tired?" She froze. "What do you mean?" I swallowed hard. "Of pretending we're okay." Her eyes widened, not with anger, but with fear, the fear of a conversation she'd been avoiding for months. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. And in that moment I saw the truth written all over her face. She was tired. Not of me, but of carrying a secret she didn't know how to confess. That night, while she slept peacefully beside me, I made a quiet decision. It wasn't reckless or emotional or vengeful, it was just clear. I could either wait for her to break me with a confession she didn't want to give, or I could walk away with what little dignity I had left. The next week, I stopped asking questions she didn't want to answer. I stopped trying to revive a version of our marriage that no longer existed. I didn't pack my bags dramatically or shout or accuse her. Instead, I began reclaiming myself, piece by piece. I went on long drives after work, giving myself time to think and to breathe. I picked up old hobbies I'd abandoned for the sake of togetherness, like painting and music. I reconnected with friends I had drifted from. I started journaling again, something I hadn't done since the early years of our relationship, and slowly, painfully slowly, I began to realize that I wasn't just losing her. I had already lost myself somewhere along the way. One evening, Mia came home to find me sitting at the dinner table with a small envelope in front of me. I could hear her heartbeat in her voice when she asked, "What is that?" I slid it toward her. My decision. Inside was a letter calm, honest, and final. It wasn't blaming or cruel, it was just the truth. I wrote, "I heard you." I wasn't meant to, but I did. And I'm not angry, I'm just done being a ghost in my own marriage. Her hands trembled as she read it. "Aaron, why didn't you confront me?" I met her eyes gently. "Because you were already carrying the weight of that truth alone. I didn't want to add shame to it. I just needed to choose myself again." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I still care about you," she whispered. "I care about you too," I said softly. "But care isn't the same as connection." She collapsed into a chair, sobbing into her hands. I didn't comfort her. Not because I didn't love her, but because I finally understood. Love doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes love means stepping away before both people drown. We didn't fight. We didn't scream. We didn't blame each other. We simply unraveled gently. A quiet separation. A peaceful acknowledgement of a truth we had both ignored for too long. As I walked out the door that night, she whispered, "Aaron, please don't hate me." I turned and offered her a sad but genuine smile. "I don't, but I can keep loving someone who isn't sure if she feels anything at all." And I left. Not destroyed, not angry, just free. Because clarity doesn't always bring closure. Sometimes clarity is closure. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content like this.